Yo, it's 3:19 p.m. Central Standard Time, Thursday, February 5th, 2026. And today we're going to talk about balloons. Okay? Balloons. Balloons. Because today's February 5th, 2026. And guess what happened? Oh, on a similar date, but a couple of years ago. Well, I was going to talk about balloons, and I started looking into stuff, and it turns out that... You guys remember this? You guys remember the, You guys remember the old Chinese... the old Chinese spy balloon? Well, that happened from January 28th to February the 4th of 2023. It is my understanding that they let it go across the entire continental U.S., and it was said to be a Chinese spy balloon, right? And they said it was too high to shoot down, right? And it was just for reconnaissance. It wasn't that big of a deal. So, I checked. I looked at that, and because I remember them saying it was too high to shoot it down too. And let's see. Let's see where we got. Where did we go? Maybe I moved it over here. Bear with me. Ah, yes. So the altitude was between 60,000 and 65,000 feet. It was shot down at 58,000 feet by an F-22. So there's different numbers, and I'm sure these numbers are padded a little bit to ensure domination and also to not give away the upper hand, you know. So, but 42 to 50,000, I suppose. I'm not a pilot, so I don't know. That's what these fighter jets can usually cruise at. So this was too high. Although it wasn't too high for that, right? It's pretty interesting, and it's not every day that you see the Hubble telescope on a balloon, right? It sort of reminds me of in the Truman Show when the light fell from up high and it was Sirius and it hit the ground. Well, this kind of reminds me of that. I'm not saying that's what this is, but that's just what it reminds me of, you know? Because it was there, and again, that was too high to do anything about it. And yet, we have a shadow on it. Now, this may have not had a payload, you know? Could just be a camera, you know? What do I know? Nothing. I know nothing, and I'm not speculating. I'm just saying this happened yesterday in history, 3 years ago. What else happened around that time? The Challenger explosion, January 28th, 1986. I remember where I was at. 1986, January 1986, I had just turned, I was born in 81, end of 81. So at the end of 85, I turned 4. I remember I was sick. I was out of school, whichever school it was, and we were at the grocery store with my mom when they came on the intercom at the grocery store and said that this had occurred. So this happened on the 28th of January. Where did we go? We'll get to what I was going to talk about in a minute. The rest of the balloons. Because check this out. Where are we? So, in 2023, Lunar New Year, also known as the New Year for some folks, runs from the 22nd for 15 days. It usually goes from the 21st of January to the 20th of February on our calendar, but it varies on when it starts. So, starts then, and it ends with the Lantern Lighting Festival. 15 days afterwards. That I'm not connecting the Challenger with this. It is interesting that it happens around the same time frame. I was just looking for events in history. So the Challenger disaster happened on in 86 on the 28th, right? 28th, and then the Chinese incident here, which is wild, from the day of the Challenger explosion until the end-ish of the Chinese New Year, of the lighting of the lantern ceremony, which is just a balloon. So they blew this up 14 days after the start in 2023, and not quite 14 days because it was the 22nd, so it'd be pushed 2 days forward, but that was on our time, so I don't know what time it was in China land. That's not on me. Yeah, so the Challenger and the Chinese balloon incident here, and also the Epstein files that just came out. I mean, that's like right there around the same date as well. Just throwing that out there, man. I don't know. I'm not saying that's related. I'm just saying the way this stuff comes out on dates is always fascinating, whether it's planned or whether it's just the way the universe works. It's fascinating that the Chinese balloon incident went from 28th January to the 4th of February, which is the anniversary of the Challenger explosion, and roughly right around the end of the Chinese New Year. Because again, Chinese New Year, where are we? I'm trying to figure this out, guys. Here we go. I do not be such a spurg with these tabs. Let's see. It was celebrated on the 22nd, marking the beginning of the new year, but the festival, it runs for 15 days. So the burning of the Lantern Festival, sometime around there, but possibly earlier, because 15 days, realistically, 21 plus 15, there's 31 days in January, so 15 days will be February the 5th. I mean, I think that's dumb people Alabama math. So your mileage might vary. I just thought that was interesting. And anyways, I was going to talk about balloons and how they were used, and let's see, here we go. Yeah, how they were used throughout history, from the time they were developed up until until airplanes got possible. And then I was looking at, this is a cool photo of an airship factory in Russia, and it kind of looks Russian to me. It's got these taller steeply things, and the arches are taller and skinnier, and I mean, this all just kind of looks Russian to me, I guess, But check this out. I was looking at balloons as communications devices on account of the this. On account of Hubble telescope hanging off of the bottom of this balloon, just to show that this was something that they actually do. And these solar panels, they power whatever's on here, much like an actual satellite, but with this big nice thing, the balloon. So these cats, this is MIT, these cats developed a non-line of sight system where they can float these balloons up in the air up to 100,000 feet with just latex balloons full of helium, up to 100,000 feet, and they can control 600 miles in diameter as far as signals. It works through multiple different means with algorithms and different signals and frequencies, and it'll work with interference, strong interference, they say. They don't really go into the details on that, but they participated in a 2019 military utility assessment of the system that achieved successful relay communications in the presence of strong interference. And they say that the balloon, along with the helium needed to carry it to altitude, can be purchased for only a few $100s. So that's a pretty good alternative for anything that's got to be cheaper than flying an airplane, for sure. Definitely cheaper than launching a satellite. So there's that 600 mile diameter circle that they can control from 100,000 feet with these guys, and they can just launch them up there as they need to. All right, and this was a pretty cool article. This is what got me started thinking about the Chinese balloon and Chinese New Year, because at our New Year's we usually fire up one of those Chinese lanterns and watch it float away, So yeah. But I was thinking about this guy, Auguste Piccard, one of the ancestors of Jean-Luc Picard from Star Trek, and I was thinking about his first journey and how high he went. He went to 51,775 feet, and that's pretty high up there. Here's a picture of him and his flight partner, Paul Kipfer, and their protective wicker basket helmets. And he had a twin brother. Wow, that's cool. He also made submarines. It's interesting that he was such a visionary in both directions of the pressure gradient, both for lower pressure in the upper atmosphere and higher pressure down in the depths of the ocean. He made the first bathysphere, and his brother Jean-Félix Picard, I'm not sure, maybe that's the one that Captain Picard's named after, I don't know. He was also a balloonier, and so was Jacques Picard. He was in the submarine part of ballooneering. And Bertrand Piccard, he's an environmentalist. Okay, he circumnavigated the globe, the first to complete that. Jeannette Ridlon Picard and Don Picard, he was also a balloonier. there's old dude, and so he did it in 1931, right? That's what it said, I believe. He was born in 1884. So 1884, that'd be 16 and 31. So he was 47 when he went up there. Yes. 27 May 1931. So he was 47 years old. Nice. Here is his balloon with the bathysphere, the low pressure bathysphere. Fascinating. And it looks like a giant whoopee cushion. Pretty neat. I looked for an in-person, like a personal account of his trip, and I found one. Jean Picard, 1934, balloon flight, personal account, pictorial, Jeannette and Auguste. It was sold 5 days ago for $39. And it was an issue of like a magazine from back then. And it's got this little article in it. And I guess it was the only one, because there's nothing else like it. So, if anybody sees this and you bought this thing, share that thing out. Unless you were buying it just to hide it. Get it off of the market or whatever. Then I guess I get it. Just another picture of a balloon. A balloon. Oh, check this out. These are the Montgolfier brothers. They built the earliest manned balloon, and this is a illustration of it being controlled and steamed, I suppose. And then here they are in there, like Mickey Mouse and freaking Goofy, yeah, Goofy, and all of the people. And between the two columns, come on now. And as I said, the Chinese balloon incident from February 28th to February 4th, 2023. We were powerless. We had no way to knock that thing down until what would have been 14 to 15 days after the Chinese New Year, where the closing ceremony is to light a burning balloon on fire. Send it off into the night. Yeah, so, yeah. There you go. That's about all I got on that. I was going to talk about some more cool balloon stuff, but, I mean, whatever. You get the gist. We'll do more later. Yo, go check out 91 Sonoma. It's down here somewhere, or it might be up there somewhere in this area. Go check that out, wherever it's at. 91 Sonoma. Yeah.